back for the reply. Now, in today's debate, proposition had to prove that green energy sources were first of all unnecessary because they're not dealing with the current problem from status quo. And secondly, that side proposition had to prove that nuclear energy deals with this problem better. Now, in today's debate, there were three main issues. The green issue, ladies and gentlemen, the energy yield issue, and the cost or the economics issue. Now, the energy yield and cost economics basically form the cost efficient, a bigger issue, cost efficiency. Now, let's look at this green issue. And now, both sides in today's debate conceded that the big problem with energy, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're too dependent on coal, and one of these days it'll run out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what was said in this debate from side opposition was, what was said in today's debate, ladies and gentlemen, is that green energy sources won't contribute any emissions, ladies and gentlemen, and with that, they'll solve the problem. But ladies and gentlemen, we showed you that we'll still be dependent on coal because green energy sources don't deliver enough energy, ladies and gentlemen. It can't get us off coal power. Well, meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, side proposition came up here and told you all this. We have relatively no risks, even though side opposition was advocating for this meltdown that happened 70 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. We relatively had no risks. And at the end of the day, it will take off we will take off more dependency on coal than green energies. So at the end of the day, in terms of the green issue, nuclear power is actually helping us more in the long run. That's what side opposition showed you today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, side opposition, ladies and gentlemen, assumed that the only way to help the environment was through these green energy ways, ladies and gentlemen. But we told you, well, we can still cut emissions in other ways, ladies and gentlemen. But for the purpose of green energy power plants, we feel that they are unnecessary, ladies and gentlemen, and redundant because, ladies and gentlemen, they're not justified in the end of the day. Now, side proposition also mentioned this thing of the nuclear meltdowns, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we told you that this was an isolated case. I mean, it happened 70 years ago. Technology has gotten way more sophisticated and measures have improved, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that this does not happen. Okay, now let's move on to the second issue, the energy yield. Now, ladies and gentlemen, side opposition came up here and told us, well, green energies still provide efficient amount of energy, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we told you that by the time coal's gone, ladies and gentlemen, 0.7% won't sustain the whole country, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't have any substantive mass in this regard, ladies and gentlemen. Whereas opposed to us, we showed you that what 1 gram of uranium at the end of the day can do, ladies and gentlemen. And in terms of cost, ladies and gentlemen, both sides admitted that the startup costs are high, ladies and gentlemen. So we're square in that regard. Now, side opposition was saying, well, there's relatively low maintenance costs with green energies, and they said that the only real problem with nuclear power is that the high cost that we will incur when there is a nuclear meltdown, which is not likely to happen. We showed you that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at the end of the day, when we combine these two, we see that nuclear power is the most cost-efficient way of providing us energy, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, the man on the street will pay less for his energy through nuclear power than for all these green powers, ladies and gentlemen. So we've proved to you that green power is unnecessary, ladies and gentlemen, and that nuclear power can do the job much better. Thank you.